Jeff Chandler, born as Ira Gressel on December 15, 1918 in Brooklyn, New York, was a captivating American actor and singer whose striking appearance and undeniable talent left a profound mark on Hollywood in the mid-20th century. With his distinctive prematurely gray hair, towering build, and rich baritone voice, Chandler stood out as a leading man throughout the 1950s. Audiences were drawn not just to his physical appeal, but to the quiet intensity he brought to his performances. His life, sadly abbreviated by unforeseen tragedy, remains one of the more bittersweet tales from Hollywood's golden era. Raised in a modest Jewish household during the harsh economic realities of the Great Depression, Chandler developed a deep appreciation for the arts early on. After finishing his studies at Erasmus Hall High School, he enrolled at the Fegan School of Dramatic Art in New York City. His dedication to acting was evident from the outset. He tirelessly refined his skills in radio and stock theater, laying the groundwork for what many believed would be a long and illustrious career. During World War II, Chandler served his country in the U.S. Army, stationed in the remote Aleutian Islands. His military service deepened his sense of discipline, a trait that would come to define his work ethic on screen. Once back in civilian life, Chandler made his way into radio, where his deep, recognizable voice gained significant attention. That vocal prowess would open doors to small roles in film, eventually leading to prominent parts in major productions. His big break came in 1948, when he played a hardened gangster in Johnny O'Clock. However, it was his 1950 portrayal of Cochise, the Apache leader in Broken Arrow, that catapulted him into stardom. His nuanced performance earned him an Academy Award nomination for Best Supporting Actor, a major feat at a time when Hollywood often marginalized Native American characters. Chandler's sensitive and dignified portrayal helped reshape the way indigenous people were represented on screen, showing a level of empathy and complexity rare for the era. Following the widespread acclaim of Broken Arrow, Chandler's star continued to rise. He took on leading roles in a variety of genres, showcasing his versatility. From thrilling adventure films like Smuggler's Island, 1951, to the intense war drama Maril's Marauders, 1958, and gritty westerns such as The Jayhawkers, 1959, Chandler proved he could command the screen in any setting. He was frequently cast alongside Hollywood's elite actresses, including Jane Russell, Rhonda Fleming, and Maureen O'Hara. Known for portraying characters who were both strong and emotionally layered, Chandler brought a unique duality to his roles. Men who were tough but inwardly vulnerable. In addition to his success on screen, Chandler was also a talented vocalist. During the 1950s, he released a number of albums filled with romantic ballads and classic standards that spotlighted his smooth, expressive singing voice. Although his musical endeavors were overshadowed by his film career, they added another dimension to his artistic identity. Songs like I Should Care and All I Do Is Dream of You revealed a softer, more introspective side of the man often cast in rugged roles. Chandler didn't limit himself to acting and singing. He had ambitions behind the camera as well. He created his own production company, which gave him greater control over the projects he participated in. This desire to shape narratives from the ground up was uncommon at the time, and showcased his forward-thinking approach to the film industry. It wasn't just about being the face on the poster. Chandler wanted to influence the storytelling itself. This move underscored his entrepreneurial drive and creative vision, elevating him from actor to filmmaker. In 1946, at the onset of his ascent in Hollywood, Chandler married actress Marjorie Hochschild, who had some success on stage and screen before stepping back from acting. Initially, the couple seemed like the ideal Hollywood pair, charismatic, attractive, and glamorous. They had 2 daughters together, Jamie Tucker, born in 1947, and Dana Gressel, born in 1949. Dana would eventually incorporate her father's birth surname, Gressel, into her own. The Chandlers settled into life in Los Angeles, and for a time, Jeff appeared to manage both his burgeoning career and his role as a devoted father. Yet, beneath the polished public image, cracks in their marriage began to show. The couple first separated in 1951, but attempted a reconciliation that ultimately failed to address deeper issues. They parted ways again in 1954, and Marjorie formally filed for divorce, pointing to a breakdown in their relationship. Among her specific complaints was Jeff's persistent exhaustion. She claimed he was so frequently fatigued that he would fall asleep during outings or social events, regardless of the setting. The Jeff Chandler mystery. Finally, Uite painted the picture of a man who, while physically present, was often mentally and emotionally unavailable. The long hours on set, studio obligations, and endless demands of celebrity had clearly begun to erode his health and his family life. Still, the couple made one final attempt to repair their relationship, reconciling briefly in March 1955, during which time Chandler continued to maintain his status as one of Universal Studios' most profitable stars. Unfortunately, this reunion did not last. While filming Raw Wind in Eden in Italy in 1957, Chandler began a very public and much publicized romance with actress and former competitive swimmer Esther Williams, a well-known star in her own right. The affair quickly gained the attention of the press, and it became clear to Hochschild that their marriage had irreparably broken down. She filed for divorce again later that year, putting an end to a relationship that had been marred by repeated reconciliations, emotional strain, and Chandler's intense career pressures. The divorce proceedings in 1958 offered an inside look into Chandler's financial reality. He revealed that, under his contract with Universal, he was being paid $60,000 per film in 1957 and $75,000 per film in 1958, an impressive salary for the era. Altogether, Chandler reported earnings of $250,000 in 1957, which included not just film income, but money from singing engagements and likely various public appearances or endorsements. However, a large chunk of that income was siphoned off by professional fees. His business manager, personal manager, and agent collectively took about 25%. Added to that were personal expenses tied to maintaining his lifestyle, caring for his family, and sustaining his career. Despite these financial burdens, the court mandated that Chandler continue to provide his wife with $1,500 per month in temporary support payments. When the final divorce settlement was reached in June 1959, the financial terms were even more substantial. Chandler agreed to pay over $2,000 per month in spousal support and an additional $500 per month in child support to ensure that his former wife and children were financially secure. He also made a lump sum payment of $100,000, a figure that reflected not only the duration of their marriage, but Chandler's still thriving Hollywood career at the time. Reflecting on the dissolution of their marriage, Marjorie Hochschild revealed that Jeff Chandler had become increasingly consumed by his professional life, to the extent that even his downtime was monopolized by career demands. She recounted how Chandler would spend nearly every free moment, when he wasn't actively shooting a film, buried in the affairs of his business office. According to her, this intense focus rendered him emotionally and physically distant, leaving little room for family or personal connection. The toll of their unraveling relationship, she explained, was so severe that it manifested in physical illness. She developed an ulcer, a condition she attributed to years of emotional strain within the marriage. Even after the separation, Chandler's personal affairs continued to draw public intrigue. He was romantically associated with several figures within the entertainment world, most notably actress and singer Gloria DeHaven. While their involvement was initially discreet, their liaison became the subject of public scandal when it was exposed by Confidential magazine, an infamous tabloid notorious during that era for exploiting celebrity secrets. During a courtroom proceeding involving Confidential, private investigator Fred Otash admitted that surveillance teams had shadowed Chandler and DeHaven in an effort to unearth proof of their affair, underscoring the extent to which the tabloid media would violate privacy in pursuit of sensational headlines. Years later, the most provocative episode in Chandler's private life came to light when Olympic swimmer-turned-actress Esther Williams released her autobiography, The $1 Million Mermaid, in 1999. In the memoir, Williams asserted that their romantic involvement ended abruptly when Chandler proposed to her, only to then disclose that he was a cross-dresser. This revelation caused a media firestorm, reigniting public scrutiny over Chandler's private life decades after his passing. According to a Los Angeles Times report, the claim was immediately met with intense pushback from Chandler's inner circle. One of the most vocal opponents was actress Jane Russell, a longtime confidant who dismissed the allegation outright, stating, "I've never heard of such a thing. Cross-dressing is the last thing I'd associate with Jeff. He was a sweetheart, completely masculine." Numerous other figures from the entertainment world echoed Russell's disbelief, suggesting either a misinterpretation or fabrication on Williams' part. Given Chandler's rugged screen image, deep-voiced, broad-shouldered, and consistently cast in traditionally masculine roles, the allegation seemed wholly incompatible with the public persona that audiences had come to know. In addition to Williams and DeHaven, Chandler was also believed to have been romantically involved with actress Ann Sheridan, another highly respected figure in classic Hollywood. Although neither confirmed the relationship publicly, their close association only fueled his reputation as a charismatic and desirable leading man off the screen as much as on it. Amid these romantic escapades, Chandler continued to maintain a high-profile acting career, frequently cast as stoic, honorable protagonists in a range of films. Yet the turbulence in his personal affairs, failed marriages, unconfirmed romances, relentless tabloid exposure, and enduring speculation painted a far more complex portrait of the man beyond the studio lights. His relentless dedication to his craft often left those closest to him feeling neglected or emotionally drained, collateral damage in his pursuit of professional excellence and public admiration. For years, the name Jeff Chandler conjured the image of a silver-maned, baritone-voiced matinee idol who captivated 1950s filmgoers with his powerful presence and polished charisma. Through iconic performances in movies like Broken Arrow, Marital's Marauders, and Sign of the Pagan, Chandler carved out a permanent space among the elite of mid-century Hollywood. Yet behind the fame and glamour, there existed a darker, more enigmatic thread that would later cast doubt over the circumstances surrounding his sudden demise. Chandler passed away in 1961 at just 42 years old, following what was supposed to be a routine surgical procedure to correct a slipped disc. At the time, official reports stated that his death resulted from surgical complications, including a bloodstream infection and procedural mishaps. However, unsettling inconsistencies around his treatment began to surface. Friends, family members, and industry peers voiced disbelief over how a man in apparent good health could deteriorate so quickly under the supervision of a prestigious medical institution. Speculation mounted almost immediately. Whispers of misdiagnosis, administrative blunders, and medical neglect began to circulate in Hollywood circles. The center of this controversy was Cedars of Lebanon Hospital in Los Angeles, where Chandler underwent surgery but never recovered. Contradictory reports added to the confusion. Some claimed he'd been given incorrect medication, while others suggested that his known allergies were ignored during treatment. A particularly disturbing account emerged from a nurse who, according to reports, confided in Sammy Davis Jr., a close friend of Chandler's. She claimed there had been chaos in the operating room after Chandler began exhibiting severe allergic reactions and convulsions, indicative of anaphylaxis. As later uncovered in unsealed hospital documents and court files, Chandler had in fact been given a penicillin-based medication, despite having a documented allergy to it. This oversight, compounded by inadequate post-operative monitoring, led to his rapid and fatal decline. Rather than admit fault, hospital officials allegedly moved quickly to conceal their errors, fearing legal backlash and reputational damage. To make matters worse, a thick layer of secrecy enveloped the entire situation in the years that followed. Many in the film industry believe there was a deliberate effort by studio executives to suppress information that could harm Chandler's legacy or the image of Hollywood's golden era. At the time, Universal Pictures had considerable interest in maintaining Chandler's squeaky clean reputation. As one of their top-earning stars, an actor who could effortlessly lead war dramas, historical epics, and westerns, any negative publicity related to his death risked not only tarnishing his name but casting a shadow over the studio system itself. The mystery deepened as those closest to him began to offer hints of a more complex reality. Chandler's ex-wife, Marjorie Hochel, would later imply in interviews that her former husband's mental and physical exhaustion had made him more susceptible to medical failure. She described him as stretched thin, working long hours on set, attending public events, and battling chronic pain, all while receiving little to no meaningful medical support. Recent years have brought unprecedented access to historical archives and revived interest in Chandler's life story. With the digitization of private letters, hospital reports, and court testimonies once thought lost, a fuller and more troubling narrative has come into view. Investigative reporters and film historians pieced together a timeline that strongly suggested Chandler's death was not a tragic anomaly, but rather the result of preventable medical malpractice. Several letters from his friends, including other actors and close associates, expressed frustration and heartbreak, referring to his passing as an avoidable catastrophe. These findings were validated further by the determined efforts of Chandler's daughter, Jamie Tucker, who quietly spent years lobbying for access to her father's sealed medical files. In a poignant interview, she shared the emotional weight of her pursuit, saying, "He wasn't just some Hollywood icon, he was my father. And he didn't deserve the ending he got." Her persistence bore fruit when a court finally mandated the hospital to release the records, which confirmed Chandler had indeed received medication flagged in his medical history as dangerous. With these revelations now in the public domain, the story of Jeff Chandler's final days has taken on new meaning. No longer just a sorrowful tale of a celebrity gone too soon, it stands as a haunting example of how silence, negligence, and institutional fear can conspire to erase the truth. For many fans revisiting his body of work, the experience is now tinged with a deeper appreciation for the man behind the roles, and a gnawing curiosity about how many other similar tragedies have been buried beneath the polished surface of old Hollywood. Chandler's death is not simply a cautionary footnote, it is a powerful indictment of a system that too often prioritized image over accountability.